My dear Amazonians, greetings. Thanks for coming on live. I hope my volume and my security system is well equipped this time around. I hope everyone can hear me. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much, Amazonians. I hope my video and I hope my audio is clear today. Of course, the last time I did not finish my half fufu, and today I'm coming here to spill out the beans and tell the Amazonians exactly where we have to head at this particular point in time. Please, we're just starting, share the video. We're just starting a few seconds ago, so please do share the video. Invite everyone to watch, as others would say. Invite everyone to watch and invite everyone to listen to exactly what has to give us the independence of Amazonia. Invite everyone to watch the strategies, what we've been putting in place for the last 3 years. Invite everyone to know the truth and nothing but the truth. Invite everyone to know exactly what we have as winning strategies and not what we have as winning policies to get money for our pockets. Dear Amazonians, fellow fighters, I wish I could start with an anthem, the anthem of Amazonia, but I think due to time constraints, I will not be going deeper into that. I will be very brief today. I will not take much of your time, but I would like to address some key concerns. But first, let me pay homage to all the Amazonians who fought and who bled for this struggle, those who died in this struggle, and those who continue to fight for this struggle. I remember the likes in the early days of Simolis Lizzie, Godfather, and the rest, who sacrificed their blood for humanity, their blood for Amazonia, their blood for national pride, and their blood for our human dignity. I remember the likes of those who have suffered for the decades, like Gojin Dinka, who is in the UK, and others who are currently in jail, the Penterens and the rest. I remember what they've done for this struggle, and I pay them homage for that. I remember those who have been killed as a result of La Republique's atrocities, maybe ignorantly, like Mama Api. Those who have been killed as a result of La Republique's terrorist activities. There are so many of them, thousands and millions of them, who are fleeing right now into Nigeria. I pray that may the souls of the faithful departed rest in perfect peace. We are just starting and we are remembering exactly all those who've lost their lives as they fought for national pride, fought for human dignity, and fought for the freedom of Amazonians. I stand here today as Tapang Ivo We, the spokesperson of the Amazonia Defense Forces. I stand here with a lot of respect for you Amazonians, those who are watching me. I stand here with a lot of humility for all the Amazonians who think we have a right to human dignity, we have a right to self-determination, we have a right to national pride, and we have a right to the rule of law. Above all, we have a right to self-defense. We are specifically targeted and we are specifically focused on self-defense for one key purpose. For the past years, for over 57 years, we've never ever tested what it means to defend ourselves from these terrorists. Specifically, for the past 3 years, we've tested a hypothesis that did not work. We tested ghost towns, boycotts, and civil disobedience. These are all civil strategies. To be more specific, ghost towns is a civil strategy. It is a strategy to enforce what we call the rule of law. How can we restrain power? How can we prevent excess overflow of power? That is what we call ghost towns. How can we stamp out our authority over a dictatorship? How can we as citizens man up as a group to say no to impunity? That is what we call ghost towns. We tried that, it worked, and today it's still working. We've tried civil disobedience in the sense that we are standing against anything national for La Republique, like the 20th May National Day, like the Youth Day of 11th February, and any other public holiday declared by La Republique du Cameroon. We say no to that. That is what we call civil disobedience. We engaged in a strategy called boycotts. Boycott is merely to show exactly who rules and who controls the territory and its people. That strategy worked in the days of the consortium. It is as well as civil disobedience strategy. It's a civil strategy. Those are strategies, the three-pronged approach that we adopted in this struggle to render the La République du Cameroun regime useless, obliterate its entire system, and stamp out as our authority as the rightful owners of Ambazonia. Ghost towns, boycotts, and civil disobedience. Those were the civil disobedience of the civil strategies. However, that was not enough. It wasn't enough because, of course, it did not stop the killings of our people. It wasn't enough because La République du Cameroun still found a way to meander with its partners, specifically its conditions or tied aid partners like China, Russia, France, Britain, and the United States that keeps funding this terrorist regime for over the years. La République du Cameroun clearly found a way to still have money, despite the fact that a single day of ghost towns cost La République at least 60 billion francs CFA, according to the Carrefour Policy Institute. It is very, very sad that we have engaged in these three strategies and La République du Cameroun still finds a way to kill our people using all kinds of strategies. That is why last year we transitioned into what we call self-defense. We transitioned into the purchase of arms. We transitioned into the purchase of weapons, of bullets, of guns, of RPGs, and the rest. We are still intensifying that massive campaign. We have moved from the era of ghost towns, boycotts, and civil disobedience into the era of guns and bullets and RPGs and improvised explosive devices. We are using those items or those weapons or those ammunitions as our self-defense measure. We are using those weapons to stand against La République du Cameroun and defend our women and children. We are using those weapons in consonance with the Geneva Conventions of 1949 and its two additional protocols that, one, protects its civilians and two, protects prisoners of war. The Ambazonia Defense Forces is the most coordinated and well-structured organization in the entire Ambazonia. It is an organization that none of its members, including its communications spokesman, Tapang Ivo, have ever resigned from the organization. Unlike other organizations and other NGOs like the IG, that people keep resigning, defrocting because of the corruption, bribery, nepotism, tribalism, and all the isms in that particular structure, the Ambazonia Defense Forces has never ever had an individual resign for any purpose. Instead, like the Catholic Church that is being accused of its Christians fleeing to other Protestant churches, you've never asked the question, how many of those are also coming into the Catholic Church? We have so many people knocking the doors of the Ambazonia Defense Forces. We have so many people, strategists, critical thinkers, free thinkers who are joining and who are trying to join the Ambazonia Defense Forces and its inner circles. We've never ever stopped them. In the day, we have those messages. We have those who are trying as much as possible to be part of the advisory council of the Ambazonia Defense Forces. We are still scrutinizing the files and we shall bring them in. The Ambazonia Defense Forces is the leading force in Ambazonia to coordinate humanitarian efforts. That means the other side of humanitarian efforts, like civil ghost towns, boycott, civil disobedience. That is part of the consortium strategy, but we are much more focused on self-defense. I will be very clear here with the lockdown and the national lockdown. Of course, when I heard about this lockdown, I touched base with a couple of people. And to know exactly the rationale for this lockdown and who exactly is calling for this lockdown. The lockdown is a civil disobedience strategy. We cannot continue to hurt our own people with our own strategies. If the strategies do hurt our people, do not extend them for a very long time. If the strategies really hurt our people, do not push it too far, because our people will turn the weapons on us and call off the war against La République du Cameroun. Of course, I will insist here and I'll be very clear. We are not experimenting a war. We are in a war, fighting a war with strategists. We are in a war, fighting a war with those who have sacrificed for the last 25 years, like Ebenezer Akwanga, Ayabacho Lucas, Benedict Nkwa, Sheikh Kavo Milim, and the rest, you can call them. It's an endless list. We are in a war trying to fight an enemy. We are not here to test whether this works or not. We've tested ghost towns, it works. We've tested boycotts, they work. We've tested civil disobedience, it works. But we shall not extend it to the point where it hurts our own people. That will be calamitous, and that we are shooting ourselves in the foot. I would insist here, ghost towns remain on Mondays. As the former consortium leader, as one who had advocated for ghost towns, and as one who knows exactly where the shoe pinches, ghost towns remain on Mondays. There shall be no lockdown in Ambazonia, and I, including the Ambazonia Defense Forces, shall ensure that there shall be no lockdown. Citizens have the right to freely move as from any day except Mondays and except the February 11. We shall extend the ghost towns when necessary, just to 2 days and nothing more. The people already lost about 3 days in a week, and they don't have the money to meet up, or they don't have the money to catch up with the economic losses. We shall not lock down the nation. We shall not lock down our citizens for no reason. I insist there shall be no lockdown in Ambazonia. We've earlier locked down the nation for a specific reason, but right now there is no rationale for it. I have touched base with a couple of people who've advocated for this lockdown, and they gave me a reason, or they gave me a signal that the fighters on the ground decided to lock down the nation. The fighters do not include the Ambazonia Defense Forces. So whom did they meet and who agreed for this lockdown? Who sat to ensure that the fighters sat in a meeting to roll out this lockdown campaign? It is a farce, it is a scam, it is ridiculous, it is atrocious, and it's an abomination. We shall not lock down the nation. I insist, and I shall put it clear, and I shall enforce it on the ground. We shall know who has the forces on the ground and who has the RPGs. If you are listening to me, fellow fighters, if you're listening to me, dear Ambazonians, tell your mothers to continue their activities as from today hence. Only Mondays is a ghost town, and 11 February, no one must show up. We are not giving a reason for La République du Cameroun to step up its game and come to end a struggle that we've suffered all these years to roll out for a specific purpose. We are not giving La République du Cameroun a chance to win over us. We are not giving La République a chance or a breathing space at a point where we have to be fighting and ensure that we rule our nation. We are not giving La République du Cameroun any chance to give them some kind of a victory in any way. Our people have suffered. Our people have suffered through the pains of 3 years of ghost towns, extended boycotts, extended civil disobedience. They don't have the money anymore to take care of their families. Allow them to go and feed. Allow them to move freely and look for food for their children. Allow those in the bushes to go out and feed and look for food for their children. There shall be no ghost towns. Our fighters will keep fighting as our women keep looking for food to feed our fighters. I insist here, and if you think you want to dare it, try it and lock down the nation. We shall face this head on. There shall be no lockdown, and I insist there shall be no lockdown. Repeat it, and this comes from the Ambazonia Defense Forces. We have insisted, if you don't want to collaborate, you'll be kicked out. And if you don't want to associate, you'll be kicked out. This war is not a walk in a park. We are trying to pedal and raise our pedal to the highest pedigree, where we shall negotiate from the positions of strength. We shall not negotiate from the position of weakness. We have already proven to the world that we can hold down the country. Now we have to prove to the world that we have the weapons, we have the guns, we have the bullets, we have the RPGs to supply to our fighters to prevent any further incursion of the terrorists, to protect our women and children. It is only then that we can negotiate from the position of strength. Right now, we are not capable to negotiate with La République du Cameroun because, of course, they are stronger than us in terms of military might and power. In terms of capacity, they have that. In terms of capability, they have it. We have to up our game. We have to show to the world that we can stand strong and we can buy those guns and bullets to protect our women and children. We have to show to the world that we can negotiate from the point of strength, from the position of strength. We have to show that to the world. The world is watching us. The Amnesty International is watching us. The Human Rights Watch is watching us. The Uppsala Institute for Conflict and Negotiation is watching us. All those international actors, non-state actors and state actors are watching us. We have to show to the world that we are coordinated. We respect the rule of law as well as we respect human dignity. We shall not lock down the country after coming from just 3 months or 4 months of a national lockdown. We shall not implement it. Whoever is trying to stamp out his or her authority as an NGO over the people will not succeed. The people have the power and the people shall decide. Our goal is simple and our goal is focused. We want to seize Ambazonia from La République du Cameroun. We want to craft out an Ambazonia based and hinged on democracy, democratic accountability, the rule of law, good governance, self-determination, and self-defense. Once we do that, we shall take the Amazonia and give it over to you, the people. You shall decide who has to be your president. You shall decide who has to rule over you. For now, no one is ruling over you. You are the people ruling over yourselves. We've made the country completely ungovernable. As I wrote it out last year, our goal is to make the country completely ungovernable for whosoever. It is not time to govern. It is time to fight and liberate. It is not time to sit and hit and stay. It is time to hit and run. It is not time to establish regular communications with those back home because La République du Cameroun has acquired the necessary capabilities from China to tap our lines and fish out the location of our fighters, our generals on the ground. And that is exactly what is happening. If you are a member of the NGO, IG, or you are a member of other defense groups, I advise you not to communicate with any fighter on the ground using your known established number. This is what is happening. La République du Cameroun has acquired machines from China. These machines can jam into WhatsApp and Facebook. WhatsApp was recently bought over by Facebook. And those who are working in WhatsApp and Facebook are mostly Chinese people. And these guys have sold out the codes to those in China. And so these guys can tap into your network at any time and pick out the location of all the fighters. If you look at it critically, within the last few months, the numbers of generals that have died in 1 week is consistent with La République or the Cameroon-Sino agreement. It is very consistent with the Cameroon-Sino agreement. Agreement to protect the regime in power. Agreement to roll back democratic efforts. Agreement to kill Ambazonians and to render Ambazonians useless as they continue to establish the Cameroon-Sino cooperation just to rip off our oil. It will not work. We already have evidence that our lines, Tapang Ivo's lines, Ayabacho Lucas lines, and all other leaders you know, the lines are being tapped because the numbers are well established. We are advising every Ambazonians, do not communicate with any fighter on the ground using your known line. And stop the regular communications or the calls you're making to the ground. All the calls have been tapped and the location of those fighters are easily traced. And that is why in one night, they sweep all the generals like flies. They sweep them all. In the past, it never happened. It never happened. But right now, La République du Cameroon has no basis in Ambazonia, but yet they are sweeping all of the generals because they have the money, they have the capability. Remember, we are at war. And as von Clausewitz, a political analyst, a military strategist, once defined war, it is the continuation of politics using other means. Other means he did not clearly define. It is open. We have all options on the table to fight La République. And I will insist, all our options are on the table to fight La République du Cameroon. We have all the options on the table to fight La République du Cameroon. And at this point, if you are not for buying of guns and bullets, we don't call them groundnuts or we don't call them sticks, guns and bullets. If you are not for the purchase of guns and bullets, you are not for the liberation of Ambazonia. We have established channels, and in the days ahead, we are working a plan to bring together key leaders, including Dr. Ayabacho Lucas and Akwanga, those who have been separated by tribalists. Those two have been separated by tribalists. We cannot stand to see how to unite Ambazonia. And these two critical leaders who advocate and who have sacrificed their lives for self-defense are being separated by a manu-tribalist. It will not work. We cannot stand and see these two leaders being separated by tribalists from FACO. It will not work. We shall not stand to see these two leaders who cooperated to render the regime useless and hopeless as far back as 25 years ago to be separated by tribalists. If you cannot learn to appreciate what you have, even when you have, you will not appreciate. If you cannot learn to appreciate what you have or what you don't have, even when you have, you shall never appreciate. We must start with a culture of uniting our own self-defense leaders before uniting those on the ground. Believe me or not, if you take out the ADF, you take out SOCADEF, it is game over for Ambazonia. Ghost towns will not sustain us. Boycott will not sustain us. And civil disobedience will not. For one critical hypothesis, let me emphasize here, Ambazonians. Ghost towns, boycotts, and civil disobedience, we rolled that out when we were still under the regime of La République du Cameroon. When we did not declare our independence, we were still trying to enforce our legitimate authority. We were still trying to enforce what we call ungoverned spaces, to make this particular territory an ungoverned space. In the political scientist's words, ungoverned spaces by David Lake. We were still trying to make Ambazonia an ungoverned space with ghost towns, boycotts, and civil disobedience. And when we declared our independence on October 1, 2017, that is when we reduced on our intensity for ghost towns, civil disobedience, and boycotts, because we are already in control. And what we have to focus on is defending our homeland. There is no country in the world, be they as peaceful as whatever, that has no military, talk less of a police force. What we have to focus on is a defensive method to protect our women and children. Ghost towns cannot protect your women and children from being killed. Lockdowns cannot protect your women and children from being killed. Boycotts cannot protect your women and children from being killed. What can protect your women and children from being killed is you buying those guns through channels that you all know. Buy those guns. That is what will protect them. La République has proven over the years that they can break open your door and kill your women and children and burn them and roast them in their homes. You've seen that. So you want to lock down your homes for the next 1 or 2 weeks, and you think La République will still not break in to kill you? We must be very stupid. We must stand up and we must face the reality. If shit does not hit the fan, we have to throw the shit on the fan. We must face the reality. The reality here is very simple. Step up the game. Focus on defense and only defense. At this point in time, I would insist for those who have been calling for our Ambazonian leaders to apologize. I've always asked this question, apologize for what and apologize to who? The last time I apologized was the third time in the entire revolution I'm apologizing to the public. And I apologize as a social media blogger, activist, as a social media activist with at least 143,000 followers, consistent for the past 11 years. I apologize because I switched my stance from federalism to nationalism, and that may have hurt your feelings as my dear friends. That I apologize. But I've done nothing wrong on the ground to apologize to any human being. I have done nothing wrong to apologize to any human being on the ground. Maybe I have to apologize to La Republique for fighting to restore democracy, the rule of law, good governance, self-defense, self-determination, and democratic accountability in Ambazonia. That is what I should be apologizing for. Because, of course, I was a federalist. But, of course, right now I'm a radical nationalist. And let me insist here, dear Ambazonians, for those who are calling for the apologies from Ebenezer Akwanga or so Lucas, let me give you a warning. Those who killed Godfather, and we know Godfather. Godfather was a guy, was a fighter, a born and bred fighter in Moyuka. Godfather was the one who held down the Tico plantation. Godfather is the one who burned the rubber plantation. Godfather is the one who held down Moyuka Road for at least 5 days without anything moving and crossing in. That is the guy who was killed. And we know who killed them, the NGO. Godfather, Smalley, Slizy or Sleazy. These are the people who stood and fought for our people even when we did not think of them. They were slaughtered in Lebialem village by the same NGO. Godfather was authorized to be killed by someone we all know. And we've seen his screenshots and we've seen all his works, how he orders our own genuine fighters to be killed. I apologize to the public. And you think our leaders who have stood the test of time for the last 25 years, who held the embassy, who broke the Mongo Bridge when most of us and all of us were still marching for national unity with La Republique du Cameroon, you think they should come and apologize to you? You must be sick in the head. You must be mad. Let me insist here, Ambazonians, we are not here to please people with emotions and sentiments. We are here to tell you the facts because nothing can happen to us. Nobody can do anything to us. We are here to tell you, our women and children, that we have to rescue you. We have to scam you away from La Republique. If it means scamming you, we will scam you. Because we have to brainwash you because you've been brain stained. We have to take you away from La Republique and put you where you belong in Ambazonia. That is where you belong. I know for the past 57 years, most of us have been brainwashed by La Republique to think that we are fighting to liberate you. Even the Israelites thought Moses was the enemy because Moses was sent by God to liberate them from Egypt, from 430 years in slavery under the Egyptians. We and Moses liberated them. Yet he was cursed in the desert. But the journey was never over. Moses took them to the land. Joshua and Caleb helped Moses to take them to the land. We may end here, but someone will continue. But our time to end has not arrived. We will fight and we shall take you out of the wilderness. We shall do exactly what Moses did because we have a direct call from God. We have a call from God to liberate you from all the isms La Republique has indoctrinated you with. We have to liberate you. This is a war. And in the war, we don't have emotions when it comes to facing the enemy. We are fighting a dangerous enemy, La Republique du Cameroon. Don't minimize La Republique du Cameroon. We have evidence and we have intelligence that La Republique du Cameroon wants to call off the war they declared on us. That means we calling off the war they declared on us. On the 4th of this month, we have evidence that the war will be called off by some generals on the ground under the AMF. We have evidence that some generals on the ground want to call off the war. We are asking them to make a disclaimer as soon as possible, or we shall face, or they shall face the people themselves. The war against La Republique du Cameroon cannot be called off by anyone, not even the ADF. Not even the ADF has the authority to call off the war. So we shall fight the war because we cannot call it off. If anyone thinks that you're part of some scam called the AMF, please desist and stop whatever you are doing. We have evidence from audios being sent out as of yesterday that this struggle that has claimed at least 4,000 lives, that has rendered at least 300,000 homeless, internally displaced, including refugees. We have evidence that it wants to be called off when we've achieved nothing. This shall not work, my fellow Ambazonians. We have evidence that Mama Api, who died and whose bones were shredded, were charred by fire, sufferings have to go in vain on the 4th of this month. We have evidence that we have evidence, and that the evidence has evidence that the war will be called off by a certain clique of Ambazonians on the 4th and the 5th of this month. I mean February 2019. I am recording this video in February 2019. Anyone who thinks you can dare and taste the wrath of the people, you shall face the people. No one has authority to call off this war. I insist, we shall fight this war, and we have the weapons, we have the guns, we have the bullets. We shall fight. The war was declared officially on us by La République du Cameroun. And the AMF, a so-called group, we don't want to start naming those leaders, but we are asking you within 24 hours and 72 hours to issue a disclaimer as to that audio that is circulating around trying to call off the struggle. It will not work. The blood of our women and children shall not go in vain. The blood of our fighters shall not go in vain. We shall fight this fight. We have strong evidence that former CPDM bigwigs who are now part of revolutions want to call off this war. It will not work. It will not work. If you like, you go and pay newspapers in Cameroon to carry your AMF. If you like, you go and pay all of those fake newspapers in Cameroon that are hungry. We know the newspapers. The Horizon newspaper is owned by a certain Gerard Ndikum. The same Gerard I work with, Gerard Ndikum, he's the owner of the Horizon newspaper in Cameroon. He's paid, and he was paid to carry an advert, a wartime advert, to call off the war on his paper, the Horizon newspaper. It will not work. I know Gerard Ndikum, and Gerard Ndikum is someone whom I worked with, an older person whom I worked with John Ba Akuro in Yaoundé. I know exactly his gombo tendencies. And I know that paper so well because I have contributed to that paper in some way, writing articles for them. So let me tell you, Mr. Gerard Ndikum, desist. We were former Cameroonians. Now we are Ambazonians. We know exactly the games being played in Cameroon, and we can play those games. Desist. You know the defense groups on the ground. I've said desist. Mr. Ndikum Gerard of the Horizon newspaper. Tell him to stop whatever he is doing. I respect journalists, and we have to protect journalists. But we have the right to tell journalists that for social responsibility, or the social responsibility theory, guarantees that you don't provoke when the situation is already dire. We also have evidence that papers have been paid to carry out adverts, or to carry adverts for certain groups on the ground to prop them up as defense groups or whatever. You have the right to do that, but do not do that at the detriment of the people. Now you want to call off the war and tell fighters to lay down the weapons. What weapons did you buy? How many AK-47s do you have? Who have the weapons, or who has the weapons? I like what Mark Barretta said a couple of weeks ago, that no county has even up to 4 AK-47s. 4, not up to 4. No county has up to 4 AK-47s. That is what someone who was advocating for my trip to Boya openly said, that no county has up to 4 weapons. And you raise $2 million. $2 million, and you cannot even buy 1 AK-47. It is a shame. It is a shame, and it's a sham. My fellow Ambazonians, open your eyes. For the past 8 weeks or 8 months, I have stayed silent because I let other people have their way. Now you've seen the effect of Tapang being silent. I stayed away from the social media for the past 8 months because sometimes when you want to make broad affair with those who have the power, we will give you the chance to pass and mess up. I don't run on the highway with people who want to reckless their lives. I don't run on that highway with you. I have my own highway, you go the low way. We gave you the chance to pass and you've hit the rock. Let us pass. We shall clear you off the way. And this is what we've started. I started with my last video. This is part 2. We shall clear you off the way. We shall take you off the way. You shall not block this revolution and you shall not stop this revolution. And I insist, I gave you 8 weeks, 8 months, not weeks, 8 months. And you render this struggle hopeless and useless with tribalism. We shall clear you off the way to have our way. We shall use our strategies to clear you off the way. Our media strategies. It's a media war. My fellow Ambazonians, listen. And of course, I want to crave your indulgence to listen to this particular thing I'm about to say. Our people cannot be taken for a ride anymore. We have raised the bar, our pedestal, to the highest pedigree. And that pedigree, what we need is to strengthen it and negotiate from the point of strength. No one born of a man or of a woman can stop whatever we've raised. Our bar is too high. We don't even raise money. We raise our money through our individual donations. The Ambazonia Defense Forces raises money through its individual donations. And to give you this breaking news, we have one country that has accepted to fund us, to fund the war against La Republique. I shall not detail that out. His Excellency Dr. Ayabacho Lucas will tell you when and where necessary. We have one country that has officially accepted, quote me on this, officially accepted to support Ambazonians. And we are still looking for a way to pass out this message. And that means they are giving us a host to host our weapons, to host our ammunition and everything, to fight for democracy. And they gave us 3 conditions. 1, you must respect women and children. That means human dignity. 2, you must respect the Geneva Conventions. And 3, you must guarantee that you can uphold Ambazonia. You can defend the homeland from terrorism. And they are specific about this, the terrorist regime of Paul Biya. I will not tell you exactly where the location of this country is, but I will tell you exactly that as from this moment, we already have the money, we have the weapons, we have all it takes. And that is why we can stand and tell you, if you think we are negotiating to sell Ambazonia, let us negotiate, liberate Ambazonia, you take it over and sell to whoever you want to sell. Our forefathers, our grandfathers negotiated to liberate our citizens or their citizens or us, the grandchildren, from colonial masters. They did everything to negotiate. God has blessed Ambazonia with the resources, enormous resources, even though our oil has depleted. God has blessed Ambazonia with resources. Use those resources given to you and given to you by your forefathers. Negotiate with those resources. It is your right. I will not stop you, the NGO, from negotiating with whoever. As long as you will liberate me, I will not stop you. I will not stop you, an NGO, the IG, from negotiating with whoever you want to negotiate. If you have the negotiation power, you have my blessings. But can you liberate me with the outcome of the negotiation? If yes, I will endorse you. Whosoever wants to negotiate with any non-state actor or state actors, I endorse. If you want to negotiate with our Bakassi oil, I endorse. If you want to sell Sonora just to liberate my people, I will endorse you. Use your brains. Those resources are there. You shall die and go. Before you die, free yourselves. Use what will be there for the next 100 million years to free yourselves now. Oh Lord, our people perish from the lack of Knowledge. Habakkuk. Habakkuk something 4:8 or something 4:8, or maybe Luke, the chapter of Luke. Our people perish for the lack of knowledge. If we can use our oil, our sonara, our bakasi to negotiate for the release, to make Mama Happy's bones happy and come back to life, like in Bible, the book of Ezekiel, the bones came back to life. Ezekiel something, something, something. I was a former priest. I was dismissed. Ezekiel, I've forgotten that. If the dry bones can come back to life, let Mama Happy's bones come back to life as a result of your negotiation. You have the oil. You have the resources. You have everything to take and negotiate. Do it. We are not fighting this war with stupidity and emotions. We are fighting with strategy. Do you want me to give the oil to Bakassi or Bakassi oil to La Republique du Cameroon? We are fighting a war. Biya is already negotiating our oil with Britain. They have given a contract, a 99-year lease with Britain. To Britain, our own oil. And you want to stop your own fighters, your own leaders, from negotiating with your own resources to free you. My dear, you have a slavery mentality. You have a problem in the head. You have been indoctrinated by babies. You have been wrongly schooled. You are a buffoon. Call yourself a buffoon. You are a buffoon. Those resources are there. You shall die and go, and those resources shall be there. But before you die on this earth, use what has been given to you as natural resources to free yourself, Ambazonians. I don't know how I can say this, but read me along the lines. Use what has been given to you, what your forefathers fought to protect for you. Use it to free yourselves. If you cannot use what has been given to you to free yourselves, you shall remain a slave for the next 1 million years. And I curse you on that. I curse you on that. Very sad. And I will insist here, fellow Ambazonians, we are not here to pamper souls or to please souls. We are speaking here as scholars, maybe to put it down in simple words. We no longer have oil. I will quote you on this article published by the Frederick Ebert Stiftung Foundation, published in 2017. The article is clearly authored. Fueling the world and failing the region. Fueling the world and failing the region. Google it. I specialize in oil politics. I specialize in resource curse. I specialize in security. And I will tell you exactly what has been written about Cameroon in this article. It is published by the Frederick Ebert Stiftung Foundation. The title of this paper is Fueling the World. If you want me to call it fueling or fueling. Fueling the world and failing the region. In this particular article, written by Michael Ross, a political science professor, he clearly states, Google it, open it, you will see the section about Cameroon where he touched about Cameroon. And that was in 2007, when he wrote that our oil has been depleted. And if Cameroon continues to exploit the oil at the rate it was exploiting, by 7.1 years, all the oil will be finished. If you want me to repeat, I can repeat. Michael Ross, Professor Michael Ross, he's based in California, I think it's UCLA. He wrote, if Cameroon continues to exploit the oil at the rate at which it was exploiting, I mean back in 2007, if Cameroon continues to exploit the oil at the rate at which it was exploiting, in 7.1 years, all the oil will be finished. All will be finished. Let us count. 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, 12, 13. This is it. And Cameroon has been exploiting that oil at that rate. Now we are 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Do you think you have oil left? It's finished. The oil is finished. Go and research about it. Your oil is depleted. What you have now is what we call gang minerals. We geologists, I did geology, and I will tell you exactly this. A gang mineral is basically a worthless mineral. You can have diamond here, but it's not worth it to exploit that diamond, because the amount of investment you will put in place to extract that diamond is more than how much you can sell the diamond. That is what we call gang minerals. G-A-N-G-U-E. We have gang oil right now. It is wasteless. They are just taking out the vestiges. The Bakassi oil itself is still heavily disputed, because the source rock of the oil we have in Bakassi is in Nigeria. So it is still a dispute. That is why we cannot even exploit the Bakassi oil. Ask yourself, since 2006, during the Green Tree Accord, right up to now, why has Bakassi oil not been exploited? Because the source rock is where you tap the oil. They are sedimentary rocks. The source rock is in Nigeria, and it trickles down into Cameroon and is stored in Bakassi. So literally, that oil is still owned by Nigeria somehow. That is why Cameroon cannot touch it. It is a very, very political oil. It is cursed. We are finished. La République has sold us, and we have no more resources left. We have no minerals. Bauxite is found in Fongutungo. Fongutungo is not part of Ambazonia, it's part of La République. What minerals do we have now? Where are your mines? Where are mineral corporations? Where are they? Allow our Ambazonian leaders to negotiate with the little we have to save you before we are finished. Let those people who have to negotiate with sign those oil deals go and sign the oil deals. Is it your oil? Is it your oil? It is not your oil. My fellow Ambazonians, I'm saying this and I'll be very clear here. We are not in a point to negotiate with La République du Cameroun. We shall not lay down our weapons. The only time we shall accept to lay down our weapons against these terrorists will only be in the form of a third-party negotiation, and that must be the United Nations. We shall lay down our weapons only if our United Nations tells us in the presence of La République to lay down their own weapons. At this point, we are at what we call power parity. We are at the power parity stage. Go and read Buenos de Muesquita and his war trap, his book on war trap. We are at a power parity stage. Go and read Power Transition Theory. When we talk here, we are giving you evidence as to what will work and evidence as to what will not work. What we are telling you here are facts and not assumptions. What we are telling you here are established facts that are proven even empirically and not assumptions, like I heard someone assuming today and passing it for fact finding. You know what is called fact finding? Can you make that clear distinction between what we call hypothesis and hypothesis testing? Sometimes when we go to school, we should implement exactly what we studied in the school. If not, we are making a ridicule about the schools we studied in and the brains were given to us by God. You pass an assumption for fact finding. What is the fact? Assumptions you make, sit and you type assumptions, and you come and say facts, fact finding. That's silly. Fellow Ambazonians, we're not here to compromise or to laugh at people. We are here to give you exactly what we know will liberate you. And to put it clear, no Ambazonian leader is wrong. We are in a war. The only person wrong at this stage as to what they are doing on ground zero is Mr. Paul Biya. That's the only person who is legitimately wrong. No Ambazonian is wrong. I hear people say Akwanga is a kidnapper or whatever. Did he kidnap your parents? Because he's kidnapping La République terrorists? Of course he's a kidnapper because he kidnaps La République terrorists. Did he kidnap you? Somebody is fighting to liberate you. He slept in Konengi prison. He kidnapped you to be with you, to be with him in Carnegie prison. Stop this blackmail and tribalism. Stop it. We shall accuse all of those people, including Tapang Ivo, when we get independence. As of now, it's a distraction. We shall accuse everyone of being a kidnapper the day we get independence and we are in Boya. As of now, it is still a distraction. It is a distraction, and of course, it will remain a distraction. We know those who are spearheading that. We know them. We know them. We know those thieves. We know those cappers. Those people who have been stealing money from the IG, $22,500. We know them. Baby journalists, we know them. They're trying to put money under their control to settle maybe their court fines and their court fees and the rest. We know those people. People are dying on ground zero. I have been silent for the past 8 months. Eight. I gave you guys a chance. But believe me, no one can ever take the star God has put on my head. No one can take out the star God has put on my head. Because that star is an Amazonian star for you, the Amazonian people. No one can take it out. If I like, I stay out of Facebook for the next 10 years. If I come back, I will still have my star on my head. Because I am blessed by the Almighty God, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And I'll speak the truth here, and nothing but the truth. And nobody can do me anything. Nobody. Nonsense. We sit and we frame stories. And then we come and send it out to the public for people to believe just because we want to scam money for our pockets. I expected Mark Barata to come out and say, accountability. IG, how much did you raise? Where is the money? How much was even given to Mark because Mark owns Tigers? How much was given to Mark who owns the Tigers? Mark also shows his own account. That is the accountability we need. You want a government, right? A government is accountability. That is why we don't have a government. We don't want a government because there is no accountability in warfare. But you who stands for a government, go and start holding your government accountable. People just talk words. You don't even know words. Where did you study government? Where did you study governance? A journalist, you want to come and teach people about governance. Do you know, can you define the meaning of a government? Let me break this, let me speak. Let me break this down to the barest minimum. A government has 3 structures. It's legislative, it's judiciary, and it's executive. Where is our parliament? The legislative. Where are our senators? The judiciary. Do we have a judiciary system? Where are our courts? The courts that try widows because of marital infidelity or settle land disputes in Batibo. Is that the kind of court we want to have? You are making a mockery of the system, of the international system. Where is the executive? The executive, where is the power? Where do we have our station? Where are we stationed? What host state do we have? Give me the country that has accepted to host that so-called government, that NGO, the Sawari government. Give me the states, the country. Give me just one country that has recognized your ambassador. Maybe giving them what we call letter de créance, letter of credence, or maybe what we call an exequatur in a state where you have a consulate. Give me just one host embassy that has accepted your letter de créance or letter of credence or exequatur. None. You sit from Maryland and you're running an NGO on C105 or something, and you claim you have a government. We are not ripe to have a government. We are ripe to fight. Make that distinction clear. We are ripe to fight. We are not ripe to have a government. When we fight and liberate you, we will give you the country to form a government. Because we are not interested in government. My role is to advise other countries on how to liberate themselves using strategies. And I'm making big money out of that. I will not be making money simply because I want to be a mayor or some kind of a local authority like one short guy in the UK, Mbwambwa, who was part of a federalist team. He saw Sako, who was his countryman, so-called president. He jumped from federalism to nationalism. That's short Mbwambwa. Those are the kinds of people we don't like. are the kinds of people who spread tribalism. Those are the kinds of people. Somebody accused me that, oh, the ADF is made up of Northwesterners. That Tapang and Northwesterner. Is Tapang and Northwesterner as silly as you are? I am a typical Southwesterner. Lebialem, 100% Lebialem. That is how you spread tribalism. Spread tribalism because you want to bring down groups. What stupidity. Follow ideologies and ideas. Don't follow people because you just want to follow people. Follow strategies. Strategies. It's just follow strategies. This thing is a strategic warfare. It is not an emotional bed by bed or some kind of whatever. When you want to copy and paste, make sure as you copy, you paste. If you can copy and you don't paste, you are wasting your time. The block by block strategy was copied from block by block to county by county. We have all our strategies that have been copied by the NGO, trying to be pasted elsewhere to work, but it has never worked and has rendered our people hopeless and dead. In 1 week, we have 100 people, youths dying. When do we ever see that kind of massacre? When you want to copy the block by block strategy, ask the intellectual property right owners, the IPAs, that how do you guys form this? How can it work? How can we replicate this strategy? Ayaba comes up with block by block. You come up with county by county. One riffraff. And those are the kinds of things that have rendered us where we are today. No success. No success. Look, Tapang Ivo will liberate the struggle. Call me anywhere. God's star is on my head. God placed his hand on my head. I mean God. I never believe in those fake gods. I believe in Jesus Christ. Even though I was dismissed from the seminary, I still hold firm to my God. God, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, not the one in Matom, the one in Nazareth. I believe in him. And I believe he put a star on my head to liberate the people of Amazonia. We've been silent. Don't take my silence for your right. I hear most people are taking more Tapang the fear. Fear who? Fear your head. Because when I'm silent, I'm doing other things in my personal life. You think I'm afraid of who? Afraid of who? Of which idiot? They born you. The only person I can be afraid of is any human being born of a man and not of a woman. That's the only person I can be afraid of. Any human being born of a man and not of a woman. There you see that kind of a human being bring, I'll be afraid of. You openly text on social media, kill General Ivo. Now General Ivo is dead. All the generals are dead. What have you gained? What have you gained? What have you gained? General Ivo is dead, so what have you gained? What have you gained? Kill General Ivo. Don Pasho, kill him. Look at the kind of fake names you guys have in form of government. You don't even know your people. You don't even know your citizens. This is why we say don't form a government, because you don't even know citizens' names. How can you have a citizen with the name Don Pasho? What are his names? Don Pasho. You have an ambassador, Kuku Blinks. Hear the name of an ambassador, Kuku Blinks. What stupidity? The head is empty. The head is Eke Maaki. Eke Ma and Ben Aki. Eke Maaki heads. Stupidity. Okay, go and meet Obama or Mr. Trump. Mr. Obama, welcome. Meet our ambassador, Kuku Blinks. Meet our ambassador, whatever, Don Pasho. Yeah, the kind of Ashman. No, Galo, Sando, no, Balo. No, Zumbo, no, Kanayu. Look, see, more than not, give me high blood in this struggle. I don't try to calm down my high blood. I am on a sick leave, but you guys who don't know. I don't try to bring a doctor or say, don't even talk, don't stop social media. You want to kill me before time? Stupidity, the head is empty. Small boys are never rich, I don't really get high blood because of stupid heads. Fake pastors. You don't even know, you cannot even run a church, you want to run a country. 10 names. Kuku Blinks ambassador. Don Pasho. Names. What are your names? You don't even know. Hush, but no. It's all right. Look, dear Ambazonians, I speak here with a lot of passion. I speak here with a lot of pain. If any man try that you think, man of call bad word. If any man try that you think, say lockdown. There is no lockdown. Quote me on this. We'll know the whole country. There is no lockdown. And I meet Tapang Ivo on top. I want somebody to section out this part of the video. I, Tapang Ivo, spokesman of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, on this particular day, the 1st of February 2019, insists with the authority bestowed on me by God, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, and with the blood of the people who've sacrificed for national pride, that there shall be no lockdown in February 2019. February 2019, Mami and Papa them, una go on the street, una do una regular activities, una respect only Monday ghost towns. Monday na ghost town, respect that. For 11 February, may no man no come out. Stay at home on 11 February. Respect only Monday, the country, Sunday, ghost towns. The rest of the day, go and do your activities. My mommy, my papa them, you wanna pick Ivo, na my face this at the talk. I don't talk say now we get the guns and now we protect Wuna. Because we get the guns and we don't decide say me gonna go out, me gonna not respect lockdown, we go protect Wuna from the streets and everywhere. No fear, now we get the guns. Wuna go, Wuna farm, Wuna do everything. We go protect Wuna. We don't tell our soldiers them, say they not touch Wuna, as we don't always protect Wuna. We are fighting against La République du Cameroon terrorists. We don't sympathize with Wuna. We don't see how Wuna they cry, say money no day. Wuna don't say Wuna they cry, say Wuna they sleep for bush, and don't get this. We don't tell Wuna say, Mommy, that ghost town where people they talk, you know go day again. Make Wuna go out, Wuna go do Wuna activities, Wuna go for church, Wuna pray, say make our soldiers they stay alive, they fight and protect for Wuna. We don't tell our soldiers, say make they not kidnap anybody, no. We will not stand with for kidnappers. We don't tell them, say, if we not see any man with the kidnap, we not tell our soldiers them. They go can't arrest that person. We don't tell our soldiers, they say, they don't even beat woman. Even woman go sleep with some man, no, not touch woman. The people, they want to overprotect them now, women and children. Those two. Never touch a woman, never touch a girl, never touch a child. Women and children are our most sacred valor in Ambazonia. Protect them at all times. That means even the communal bad, protect these two, women and children. Now me, Tapang Ivo, Tanku, I don't talk. I hope after this, somebody cuts out that video and share to the world. Let them say it. Tapang Ivo has said it. Me, Tapang. I have entertained a lot of mess in this struggle. I've entertained a lot of mess in this struggle. I apologize for giving you the stage, the platform, to use my name to climb to where you are. I have always said it easily. If you want to succeed in this life, in whatever you are doing as a bad thing, use my name. I'm advising you guys. I don't know why you guys are not popular. Monsieur, Leonardo, Engwa, and the rest. Look, use my name, Leonardo, if you want to be popular from today. Leonardo Esengwa. Let me give you a strategy. In a Tapang the strategies talk. Start calling my name every day. Oh, I will not take money. Oh, I will from them. Just sing the name. Sing my name. My name is popularity. That name carries power. Hush. If you are from Thailand or you are from how do they call this place? Duterte's country. Whatever. Duterte, the president. Go and ask the meaning of Tanku. Tanku means power. Power. That name, Tapang Ivo, is power. If you want to be popular, use that name. I can tell you as from today. I give you strategies on how to be popular. You guys are not popular. I'm not surprised. Because you're not calling my name. Use my name and get popularity. Use my name, Tapang. You just sing it every day when you get up from your wife after having sex. Call Tapang. Before climbing on your wife, still call Tapang. During your wife's climbing, call Tapang.
After you leave, just call Tapang. You will have power. That name even gives you power in bed. Call Tapang in bed, you will have power. When the day when something when the year, when I want the map break and down into simple terms. Others have used it and they have become popular in a negative way. Being popular in a negative way. Criminals. So, as I have insisted, and back to business, the Ambazonian Defense Forces shall not tolerate anyone who wants to negotiate from the position of weakness. We shall negotiate from the position of strength. Secondly, we will continue to make those deals as we've announced on this show. One country has officially accepted to stand with us and support us financially and militarily. One country in the world, name classified. And Ayabacho Lucas, His Excellency Dr. Ayabacho Lucas, will break that news at a time when the Advisory Council of the AGC decides. We are of the ADF wing. The ADF is the radical wing. It's the radical in the sense that we want radical reforms, social changes. We want rule of law. We want democracy. We want good governance. That is why we are radical from those extremists who don't want all of these good values, these Western values. So we are radical in the sense that we want to get all the Western values implanted. And that is why we are using weapons, guns, bullets to protect our women and children. That is the wing of the ADF. The AGC is the governance wing. It has a council, well structured. In these two wings, the ADF is ruled by a radical. That one I am more afraid than Ayabacho. He is called Benedict Nkwa, the guy who slept in a ship for 3 months, transitioning from Douala to Europe, and now he's in the US. Benedict Nkwa, that is the most radical of all of us. That guy wants the rule of law, governance, self-defense, self-determination. Benedict Nkwa, he's the chairman of the ADF. We have our own structure in the AGC. The commander-in-chief of the armed forces, he is called Dr. Ayabacho Lucas, the most radical of all the radical, a little bit radical than Benedict, but not more than Benedict, but sometimes like Benedict. That is Ayabacho Lucas. That is the strategic thinkers. Tapang Ivo is only the spokesman, but comes here as a military advisor, as someone who advises the president, His Excellency Commander-in-Chief Ayabacho Lucas. And all of them have never resigned from the ADF or the AGC. The only time I heard people resigning from a group was resigning from the NGO called the IG. So start thinking, why should doctors and the rest be resigning from the IG, that NGO registered in Zaria and operating in Maryland? Why should they resign and they're coming over to the ADF? Once you ask that question, you will have the right answer. Because the NGO runs on fake names, glorifying fake names like Cuckoo Blinks, Don Pasho, Empty Heads, people, Nigerians. Cuckoo Blinks is even a Nigerian. In Nigeria, you're having them in Ambazonia. A girl who is even clearly Nigerian from the face, you are having them in Ambazonia. Yeah, the kind of people you are bringing into Ambazonia in Nigeria. Recently, you are associating with Milan, who is a Bamu. You are bringing him into Ambazonia. So who is more La Republic than the other? That is why we are being sold. Once a Nigerian, always a Nigerian. Once a La Republic, always a La Republic. How can you run a country on that kind of Hey, una go kill me for this struggle. Hey, it is sad. Very sad. Clear the IG needs reform. That NGO needs to be reformed. You have to wash it with Masepo. Wash it with Sabulu. You have to wash the IG with Sabulu, Masepo, and the rest. No group is perfect, but believe me, that IG is exposing us to more deaths. None of their policies have ever worked. Even raising trips on my trip to Boya has failed. They don't even have 4 guns. How can oh my God. I'll just stop this video. Believe me or not, but this is where talking. I don't know whether I go bring that brain, open the brain, so put up inside, put the head close and say, please don't open again. This is the reality I'm telling to you, my fellow Ambazonians. Una know me since when the struggle starts. I know we failed. Una during consulting, I fail now. I know we never fail. The ADF has the highest numbers of wanted list people on La Republic's list. Tapang Ivo first, Ayabacho, Benedictwa, Shekawo, Milibda, one that looks more like a terrorist. Those are the kinds of people the ADF has. Go and look at the other groups, the Sawawari groups. None of them are on the wanted list. None. Why would the La Republic be coming after us? I mean, why? For what reason? Why would a terrorist group be coming after us? Open your eyes, shine your eyes and see the reality and accept the reality. We are back. Tapang Ivo is back for good. I did not fail you in my days of the consortium. Neither will I fail you now. I shall liberate you. If you want to collaborate with me, we shall liberate ourselves. Shine your eyes. And it's written in the Bible. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. I don't know which one comes before the other, but the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And that is what has happened. For the past 8 months, the level of destruction caused by baby journalists is irreparable. Right now, we're just trying to repair it. It is irreparable. Tribalism. Somebody who operates on trash. Allah. You are concentrating on what about your Manu County? How many soldiers do you even have in Manu? What guns do you even have in Manu? What guns do you even have in Manu? The only general operating in Manu is General Raphael. Raphael is from Bamenda. I will not talk too much, guys. I think let's end the show here. Fellow Ambazonians, stay glued. No one leaves. We are on board. No lockdown. It continues indefinitely. My name is Tapang Ivo We. Stay blessed.